Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Rewind That. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, Put a Ring on It is back, and today we are going to be going over the latest episode of Season 2, Episode 1, called No Rules, No Boundaries, okay? So today we're going to introduce the couples and we're going to talk about the dates that the men went on, alright? And if you joined me during the reviews for last season, welcome back, all right? All right, let's get started. So first the couples meet Dr. Nicole, and she's pretty much reminding them of why they are there. Their relationship is at a crossroads, and they need to figure out, through this process, if they're going to go their separate ways or put a ring on it. Now, some of you already know that the couples from last season put us through it, okay, with the drama. But this season, they started out the gate with the no rules and no boundaries thing, okay? But we'll talk some more about that later. Let's introduce these couples first, all right? So the first couple is LaRonda and Sean, who've been together for 3 years and met by way of sliding in the DMs on Instagram. So my first impression of this couple was that they're very cute together, okay? I like both their demeanors, especially Sean, but obviously they are here for a reason, and we don't have all the tea yet. Next couple is Darian and Alexia, and they've been together for 14 years, guys, okay? And when I saw that, I was like, wow, what's the holdup, okay? Either put a ring on it or move on, please. But again, that's why they're here. And too bad this show wasn't out like 5 years ago, because they probably would have been better off, and I'll explain why I'm saying that a little later. Anyway, Alexia is a retired basketball player, and Darian was a part of a rap group called Field Mob. So my first impression of this couple is that they seem to get along great and have lots of fun together. So they were another couple that I thought was cute. But honey, things shifted later on, okay? And we're going to talk about that too. Anyway, though, Alexia and Darian have been together on and off throughout their 14 years, and Alexia is at a point where she's ready to get married because she's getting older and she's been with him since she was pretty young. So Darian is saying Alexia is definitely wifey material and he's all in with her, but he doesn't see the need for marriage because he's seen the title and the ring destroy people. And guys, I really can't stand this type of mentality, okay? Because it really makes no sense to me. If you really think that marrying someone you've been with for over 10 years, and in this case 14, if you really think marrying that person is going to play a part in ending your relationship, you're just being freaking delusional, okay? Because if it doesn't work out, it obviously means that there were some issues that was already there that y'all just didn't resolve, okay? Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that right now, but the bottom line is Darian is wasting Alexia's time, even though he says he's all in and he wants the kids and the dog and whatever else comes with it, but he doesn't want the ring. So back to my comment earlier when I said too bad they didn't have this show about 5 years ago, right? Because Alexia is 34 years old, okay, and her biological clock is ticking, guys. So if this man doesn't want to get married and she's going to leave him like she said she would, then he done wasted so much of her time, and that means that she might have to move a little faster in the next relationship. I don't know, though. What do you guys think about that? We talked about this kind of issue before in the reviews during like marriage boot camp and stuff like that. But the only difference with those situations is that they involved drawn out engagements, what I'm saying, that lasted for years. And it's like, what are we doing here? Why are we engaged for 2+ years? That's why when people say that they got engaged, it's not always a congratulations in my book, because some of these men just be buying the ring to bide their time. Okay? Anyway, the next and final couple is Eric and Jessica, and they've been together for 4 years, and they also met on Instagram. So they seem like they have fun together, but there are some trust issues that Jessica has when it comes to Eric. So once trust issues are brought up, guys, I'm already seeing it as a red flag in the relationship. But we'll see what happens. We also find out that Eric used to play for the Atlanta Falcons, and Jessica acted jealous and became a little territorial. That's Eric's take on the whole situation. Okay, so Jessica says that getting married would put a period on everything she worked for in the relationship. But in my opinion, guys, marriage is definitely not going to solve the situation, okay? It's not going to solve anything, actually, especially after she tells Dr. Nicole that she thinks Eric wants to be in the streets. Next, Dr. Nicole lets the couples know that they're going to be dating other people to find out once and for all if they're in the right relationship. Then she has them write down what their partners can and cannot do on their dates, but only to have them rip up the papers and tell them that they will have no rules and no boundaries, okay? And to me, guys, this is super risky, and I just don't agree with this method. Some of y'all already know from last season that I thought and still think that this method of dating other people is like playing Russian roulette with your relationship, okay? Especially when they have the option to go on second and third dates with the same person. Anyway, while going over the boundaries, we saw that Eric was a little too excited, and just very unfair with the rules. He didn't want Jessica touching or being touched, but also didn't like when she had her rules about nobody touching him or him touching on his date. Just totally unfair. Anyway, another red flag for me. Dr. Nicole tells the group that the men will be going on their dates first. So next, Eric is waiting for his date to arrive, and he's trying to smell all good and stuff, and he tells Jessica that he wasn't going to have a drink on the date, but his date might be drink worthy, so he's not sure right now. But Jessica says, no, do you, because you're setting the standards for my date, and I want you to set them pretty high, okay? And I was like, okay, girl, let him know. Two could play the game, honey. Two could play the game. So then Eric's date, Shamara, arrives, and she is a pretty girl, okay? So I was like, oh gosh, here we go. How is Eric going to respond to this? But we also see Jessica being pretty feisty with Shamara, right? When she comes into the house, she was like, wow, you just walked up in here, And Eric was like, introduce yourself. And Jessica was like, no. I was like, wow. So anyway, Jessica tells Eric that he has a curfew, okay? And don't break it. Anyway, so during Eric and Shamara's date, she asks Eric if there's been any infidelity in his relationship with Jessica. And he tells her that it's actually how their relationship got started. He was with someone else and he started seeing Jessica at the same time. Okay, guys, so what we're hearing from Eric so far is nothing good, okay? Next, Darian and Alexia are waiting for Darian's date to show up, and Alexia lets Darian know that he needs to be mindful that there are consequences if he takes things too far on his date. So Darian's date, Kai, finally shows up, and Darian greets her at the door and hugs her. Then he takes her into the living room to meet Alexia, and she asks Kai what Darian did when he opened the door, and Kai says, he just smiled, that's it. And I was like, why did she just lie when she knows that the man gave her a hug? I don't know, guys. That just didn't sit right with me. But anyway, Kai was polite, though. Next, we get to Sean and LaRonda, and they had me cracking up when Sean's date Rachel showed up. Like when she rung the bell, they both freaking started racing towards the door. It was hilarious. It was cute, though. Next, we get back to Darian and Kai, and they're on their date, and we see that Darian seems to like Kai already. We also see that Kai was coming on a little strong already. She tells Darian that this is his time to be free and asks if he wants to be free with her. She also asks Darian how he would feel if she kissed him. Okay, so Darian was like, I would like it, but I don't want to give my girl any ammo. Next, Sean and Rachel's date was very laid back. There was honestly nothing much to talk about. They went walking on a trail and they talked about Sean's relationship with LaRonda. But one thing we did find out was that Sean doesn't like that LaRonda doesn't openly communicate with him, which is definitely not good in any relationship. Next, Darian gets home from his date and he tells Alexia that the date was harder than he thought it was going to be because the conversation was good. So Alexia just wanted Darian to cut to the chase, and say if he liked the girl or not. But Darian was like, let me finish. Then he went on to talk about Kai's breast and her butt. And again, Alexia wants Darian to just get to the bottom line. Ain't nobody trying to sit here listening to you go on about some other woman, okay? So Alexia says, did you kiss her? And Darian said, you need to let me finish. Then he had the nerve to say, you doing now what she don't do. And Alexia was like, don't compare me to her. Like, you only been around her for 5 minutes. Like, chill. And it was just crazy how things just took a turn, right, in my opinion. Because I thought Darian said he was all in, Plus, earlier in the episode, he said that Alexia treats him like a king and had his back through it all. So it's just a shame that this one date got him talking at the side of his neck and already comparing her to his woman of 14 years. Now, another thing I want to mention is that while he was on his date with Kai, during his confessional, he was like, I've been with Alexia for 14 long years, and that he hasn't been on a date with another woman. But the thing that stood out about this comment was the way he said 14 long years, right? He said it like it was a dreaded prison sentence, you know what I'm saying? And again, it was just crazy how his whole attitude changed from the beginning of the episode to now. Next, we get to the couple session with Dr. Nicole, and Darian tells Dr. Nicole that he enjoyed his date and it reminded him of what he hasn't been getting in his relationship now. So Alexia tells Darian, again, don't compare me to her or any other woman. Then in the confessional, she says that if Darian wants romance, he has to show her that he wants it, or he's just not going to get it from her. Then we get to Eric, and he tells Dr. Nicole that his date was very pretty and the date was smooth. And the one thing he can say is that he still got it. Then he said if he was single, he could have took things a step further and they could have went all night and came back the next morning. So when he says this, Jessica was like, see, he just worried about sex and he's just looking to smash someone else. She also tells Dr. Nicole that in the first year of their relationship, Eric was a hoe. Jessica also feels that if their relationship doesn't work out, he's not going to be looking for love. He's just going to go through another hoe phase. So Dr. Nicole just let it be known that they got a lot of work to do. She also lets the group know that they have to be careful when it comes to how they feel and make sure that they don't make assumptions based on those feelings because feelings are not facts. But in my opinion, it seems like Jessica has legitimate concerns, guys. I'm sorry. But it's only the first episode, so we'll see. Next, we get to Sean sharing how his date went, and he tells the group that he had a good time and learned that he can trust himself around other women. Then Dr. Nicole asks LaRonda what she thought, and she tells Dr. Nicole that she isn't normally the jealous type, but it was hard for her as Sean was out of the house and on a date. So Sean says that this was interesting because LaRonda doesn't really show emotion, which kind of reminded me of Shay from last season, who also wasn't very good at expressing her emotions at first. Anyway, so Dr. Nicole asks the men if they want to go on a second date, and Eric says he'd like to go on a date with someone new, and of course this makes Jessica happy. Now it's Sean's turn, and he tells Dr. Nicole that he doesn't want to go on a date with Rachel again because she's just too perfect, right? And he feels like pursuing her would put himself in a situation that would shake things up between him and LaRonda. So LaRonda says, I would assume that if someone is perfect, then I think one should explore that, right? And I was just like, wow, girl, you're mighty brave, okay? Because why the heck would you say something like that? And I think that she just better be careful with trying to act like she doesn't care because that could easily come around and bite her, all right? Anyway, Sean's response was, luckily the decision isn't up to her. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? That was a good response from Sean. Next, we get to Darian, and it's his turn to make a decision. Will he go on a second date with Kai or someone new? And he tells Dr. Nicole that this situation was very frustrating for him, even though he had a lot of fun. And, he was pretty much indecisive at this point, guys. Or at least he was playing like he was indecisive because I feel like he already knew, what he was going to do. Like he gives the excuse that he's committed to the process and blah, blah, blah. And if, we got to shake things up to see if we really want to be here. And if going on another date is going to be the right thing, blah, blah, blah. And, Dr. Nicole was like, the right thing is doing what feels authentic to you, okay? So basically, guys, the episode ends without us knowing his decision, okay? Just like they used to do to us on the first season when it came to Mike, always trying to figure out if he was going to go on another date with freaking Whitney, right? But I already know that Darian is going to go on a second date with Kai because they spoiled it for us in the trailer, okay? Anyway, guys, that's the video for today. Let me know what you guys thought. I'm looking forward to reviewing this season. I think that they're really shaking things up with this no boundary thing. Last season we had boundaries. We even had them coming to a point where, especially with Mike and Shay, is okay, are we going to lift some of the boundaries so we can really see if Mike wants to be with Whitney, things like that. And so, but this time they're coming out the gate with no rules, no boundaries. And to me, that's even more dangerous. All right. But it also shows if you could really trust the person that you're with. Okay. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.